Just imagine this for a second. You're a highly skilled professional, you're working for a top American tech company, and you wake up one morning to news that your entire visa status is up in the air. We're talking a potential price tag of over $100,000 just to keep your job. And as you can imagine, chaos erupts. But right in the middle of all that chaos, a rival superpower sees a golden opportunity. And that one moment kicked off a brand new and really intense chapter in the global war for talent. So what happens when one country's policy decision creates this sudden vacuum in the global talent market? I mean, as thousands of professionals were left reeling from this completely unexpected U.S. visa announcement, another major player was just watching, and they were ready to step in. This whole situation really sets the stage for a new front in the battle for the world's brightest minds.
And that player? Well, it was China. Almost immediately after the U.S. H-1B visa news broke and created this widespread panic, China made a really swift and strategic move. They announced a brand new visa program, and it was pretty clearly designed to capitalize on all that uncertainty. They're calling it the K-visa. And get this, it was announced on September 21st, the very same day of that U.S. deadline panic. Its purpose is crystal clear: to attract top-tier talent in science, technology, engineering, and math, what we all call STEM, with a laser focus on professionals from South Asia.
You've got to see the K-visa for what it is, a direct challenger to the American H-1B. It's targeting the exact same STEM fields, it's going after a key demographic that, basically feeds Silicon Valley, and it's even modeled on China's most prestigious visa for high-end talent, the R visa. It's essentially China putting up a giant sign saying, hey, if they don't want you, we do.
So what exactly caused all this chaos in the first place? To really get why China made this move, we have to rewind the clock about 24 hours and look at the bombshell that the Trump administration dropped about the H-1B visa, which is pretty much the lifeblood for foreign tech workers in the U.S.
This right here is the number that started it all: 88 lakh rupees. That's roughly 100,000 US dollars. An announcement came out proposing this staggering new fee for an H-1B visa. The implication was that companies would have to pay this astronomical sum, which would make hiring foreign talent incredibly expensive.
The announcement triggered absolute pandemonium. Tech companies started ordering any H-1B employees who were traveling abroad to get back to the U.S. within 24 hours, or they'd risk being locked out by this new fee. It was just a frantic, desperate scramble to beat the deadline, and it created a genuine crisis for thousands of people.
Okay, so eventually the U.S. government did walk it back a bit. They clarified the fee would be a one-time charge for new applicants, not an annual thing, and that it wouldn't apply to current visa holders who are just returning to the country. But, and this is the key part, the damage was done. That initial shock had already sent a message of instability, and it swung the door wide open for competitors.
So here's where we have to zoom out, because this isn't just about visas. This is one skirmish in a much larger conflict: the global technological tug-of-war between the United States and China for dominance in the 21st century.
This competition is between two fundamentally different systems. On one side, you have the U.S., the current tech leader with giants like NVIDIA and OpenAI, attracting talent with its democratic values. And then on the other side, you've got China, aiming to become a developed nation by 2035 with its own tech titans like Huawei and ByteDance, all operating under a single-party system.
And believe me, this isn't just theoretical. We've seen this play out over and over again. The U.S. bans the sale of advanced NVIDIA chips to China, so China pours resources into developing its own. The U.S. creates a global sensation with ChatGPT. Well, China launches its own powerful AI, called DeepSeek, to rival it. For every American tech advance, China is determined to create a domestic alternative. It's a classic tit for tat.
But at the very heart of this huge geopolitical chess match are people. Specifically, we're talking about the highly skilled Indian STEM professionals who are now caught right in the middle, facing what could be a career-defining choice.
Now, just look at the numbers here. The difference in where Indian professionals currently work is, well, it's staggering. You've got 2 million in the US, 3.5 million in the UAE, and in China, fewer than 8,000. This really highlights the enormous mountain China has to climb to become an attractive destination.
So if you're an Indian professional, this choice is really complex. The USA offers that Silicon Valley dream, a huge, established Indian community and familiar democratic values. On the other hand, China offers a chance to be part of an emerging tech superpower, but with a vastly different political system and pretty significant cultural barriers. It's really a choice between the established and the unknown, the familiar and the frontier.
Ultimately, this whole episode pulls back the curtain on what the real global currency has become. You know, it's not just about money or military might anymore. In the 21st century, the most valuable asset in the world is high-level human skill.
And here's the thing. It's not just a two-horse race between the US and China. Not at all. Nations all over the world, from the UAE to Japan and Taiwan, are actively competing to attract India's top talent. Highly skilled professionals are no longer just job seekers. They are highly sought-after assets that countries are fighting over.
The source material we looked at puts it perfectly with this really powerful quote in Hindi, which translates to, "Everyone except India has their eyes on Indian talent." It's a pretty provocative statement, right? And it really underscores how the rest of the world perceives this massive pool of skill.
So as the dust settles, the big question remains. With superpowers making these huge strategic plays and skilled individuals weighing their options between stability and new frontiers, who will ultimately win this global war for talent? The answer to that question is probably going to shape the technological landscape for decades to come.